Mic check.
Can
mic
you
check,
hear anyone
mic check.
now?
No.
You keep talking.
That's fine.
That was the worst harmonising I've ever heard.
Hey there, everyone. This is Adam here with the Hear2Listen podcast. I'm here with Jack,
Hello.
Leon,
Yo.
and Emma.
Hello.
Hello, Emma. So in the sort of continuing trend at the moment of us bringing guests in, we're very interested in people that are in our communities that are doing various different things. We want to really pull in all facets of our community. In this case, we've got Emma with Let's Get Going. And the sort of history of how we came to talk to you was there was initially with the NCS getting you in on what we call our community awareness days, and obviously COVID hit, and then we talked about doing a mini video, and then it was like, oh, we'll just bring you in on the podcast. So we're hoping to kind of introduce our listeners to what it is that you do. So you're based in Bedfordshire, presumably. I'm asking lots of leading questions. I've got to stop doing that. I should just say, where are you based? But yeah, just I suppose what would be a starting point was what the organisation does. I think I'm interested in at the moment, and then perhaps we can go back to how the idea came about.
Okay. Well, right.
No pressure.
That's where it all begins.
Where it all begins. Goodness me. Right. Let's Get Going is all about making and moving to help you feel better, to improve your well-being through physical movement, exercises, fun, and making, sort of creating, either making music or foods or crafts, arts, anything where you're sort of just busy sort of doing something, all to improve your physical well-being, because that's good for your body, but also it's good for your mental health. And it's all about sort of taking, forgetting about whatever's happened and moving or making something that makes you feel better now, and so you're in a better mindset, so then you can go on.
So when Adam said art therapy, I just thought drawing or painting and stuff like that. So you do like literally food, exercise, anything that's to do with creating.
Well, exactly. So that's where it's kind of broad. It started from, I do my main thing is Let's Go Raw, which is an exercise class that you do with parents and their children together. Because, as you know, if you have physical exercise in your life all the time, it makes you feel good. It's just something you do. It's a good sort of thing to have as your lifestyle because it makes you feel great. Oh, now I can get on with my day. But when you have young children, and if you don't actually have the physical side going in, you can feel kind of a lot of sort of overwhelm or anxiety. So I created this class, which is probably when I'll talk about where it came from, was a way that you can actually do fun games, and it's really interactive with the children, but it's a proper workout for the adult, but it's really interactive with the child. So it's like this sort of funny game, and we're bridges and we're lions and we're doing all sorts.
So for the children, what's the youngest age? 'Cause I've just got a newborn.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I would. Thank
Leon,
you.
mate, you can't be playing with her in this class already, mate. She's like
I'm not
weeks
thinking of me, I'm
old. You
thinking
know
of
what I
Kareem.
mean? So you'll be standing there benching her.
To be fair, she is quite happy at home, like at the minute, 'cause it's all new and exciting. But I'd always try and encourage her to get out and meet a friend or something, because I feel like if you're just trapped at home, it's not good for your mental health all the time.
Exactly, you see, and there's this sort of contradiction sometimes, because like, oh well, I can't go because I'm here, I've got to be here, and that's why I developed this class. That it's purely on your body weight. It's something you can do at your home, and you're with your children, so it's all interactive. There's singing, we're playing games, it's got voices and all sorts. So there's lots of. It's really fun for the child and your parents. So you're doing things together, and then at the end of it, you sort of got hot and sweaty. You think, oh wow, I've actually moved, and it's unbelievable to see the sort of the mood, how that's lifted you. Just 45 minutes, and then you do cool down stretches, and off you go.
Nice. I'll encourage her. Is it Let's Go Raw?
So at the
I'll
moment,
encourage her to look out for it.
That's where it came from, was sort of my situation where I was at home with them all the time in a sort of different country and no support around, and so it was kind of very.
Try to keep in front of the mic here as well.
Adam's a mic
Yeah,
police.
I am the mic police.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're saying about being in a different country and like lack of support. I'm a little bit reminded of, like, my sister just started her own business in Coventry.
Yeah.
And she's trained as like exercise and all that sort of stuff. And the impetus was that people could bring their children.
Yes.
Like, because there's childcare considerations.
Yes.
And we were just talking about this before, about like the feeling perhaps of isolation that certainly young mothers or mothers period can feel as a result of having a child, and then, you know, partner might go off to work in a lot of situations as well.
Yeah.
Is that kind of where this idea came from for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I was living in a sort of different rural Australia, so it's miles away,
Oh, nice.
Wow.
no family, and I had been working in a different town, so I didn't really know anyone, and then my partner was working in different states, so was away all week, and you haven't really got a lot of, you know, you're not really around young children a lot, are you? And all of a sudden, you go to antenatal classes, they talk about the labour, and then you get through that, and then it's, hang on a minute, how do we do this? You know, and there's no book, and there's lots of advice. And it's working out, again, what's right for you, because it's all this, well, try this, and have you done tomorrow? We shouldn't be doing it like that. You know? Lots of that going on. And I just thought, well, and also exercise. Oh, and that wasn't something that was in my remit. You know, I would go for a walk or a bike ride, but it wasn't really something that I did or had. So that's why, and there's a lot of people like me. They wouldn't go to the gym as a release. You know, it's like, oh, well, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to wear those leggings. Or so I just thought, well, what is there something that's actually fun? I'm laughing, and we're just pressing about, because a lot of mums do this. And when I am laughing, I feel great. You know, so that's how it's evolved. And then I did a test study, and they all liked it. And so then I did my training and my qualifications. So the whole point is you can actually get there, and it's a lovely bonding time with your child. It's not just using them as a weight. Yeah. Because they don't want to do it after a while. They go, no, you know, they want to do something else. They want to be involved. They want to play with the thing. So it's very much child-led. And so that's how things evolved. And I just kept trialling it with different groups and different parents. And so we could have this lovely play session, and then have a healthy snack and chat, and then have a crafty making session as well.
I was going to ask that. How did you go from doing like exercise and then change it to crafts? Like, did that just come out of nowhere? Did you think, I want to try this, I want to do a little bit of crafts, or did you have a suggestion or anything?
Again, it's something that's been about something that's, you see, one of the best tips to any new parent is do what you loved. Like, do what you love. Listen to your own guidance, because that's, again, afterwards, sort of, you know, any new parent, you're dealing with so many emotions, aren't you? And the key is you make your own rules up. So one of the things I used to love when I was little was making like dresses and things out of tissue paper and sellotape, or, you know, cardboard towns. It was always, what can you make?
Yeah.
It wasn't like buying toys and stuff. It was like making everything. So I always just loved doing that. So I thought, well, let's see what we can do. And you don't sort of give a colouring in picture. You give a blank, empty page, and you give a load of wax crayons, and you go, right, let's go. You know, what do you want? And so they're always choosing what they like, and I think that's really important for children to be around.
That's a good bit of advice, anyway.
I think you're going to get a lot out of this pod, actually.
Come to my class.
Tell me more. I was interested in kind of the evolution of the content that you put in as well, and I can see maybe a lot of trial and error, like what worked particularly well, maybe what didn't work quite so well. How did you kind of choose how your structure and your content should look?
Well, I've got key themes always. Nature is, I think, something we need to, it just inspires it all the time. It's so perfect. It's amazing that, like, there's this massive sun, and there's this little planet, and we whiz around every day. We don't crash. You know, like it's nature's amazing. So every time we sort of can be thinking, oh no, I'm you know, everything's too much for me. I sort of think, hang on a minute, this is incredible how it's all evolved. You know, and you think of how the Earth, you know, how we don't really understand it, do we?
No.
No.
We're just here.
We're just here.
We're just here.
Floating millions of miles through space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so like bringing nature in always makes me, you know, feel good. Making sure I've got lots of
even on days like today where it's really rainy and drizzly, and
I love the rain.
Yeah, it's all part of it, you know. You've got all these feelings on. You've got all these, like, I don't know,
sensations.
Skin receptors on your skin and stuff. Like, we cover all our skin out. You should sometimes go out in the rain and just feel the skin
in your boxers.
Maybe not in your
Let
boxers.
the rain touch your skin.
But like, if it's raining, don't put your hood up. Just have it down and just feel it a little bit. It's just part of being human,
down your
part
head.
of being on the planet. It's like the most natural feelings that you're gonna get.
All right, Leo.
I'm all
for it. Like, I'm all for it.
It's coming from, so I just don't like getting wet. I'm like a cat. Do you know what I mean? But
it makes everything shiny. What are you talking about?
yeah, was that phrase like "there's no such thing as bad weather, just the wrong clothes"? You know, I do subscribe to that as well. Yeah. So nature being part of it as well.
Nature,
what else?
Like laughing, anything that's like following the laughter of the children's like one of the other best top tips. You know, it's so important. You know, do it again, a funny voice, or hawking their hands. It's brilliant when they're on the buses and they're itchy or whatever. I used to do this all the time falling off the edge. And it's so simple, so funny, you know, anything that's good fun. Appreciating your body. Like, again, that's another thing, like so basic, but, you know, like it might not be perfect. Yes, there's probably better looking and better this and better that. But this is the one I do have, you know, and it does amazing things all night. It's breathing and your blood's going round and really simple things like that. But like just, yeah, I think acknowledging that kind of thing's a very good sort of. So I like to bring that in the sessions, and lots of colour and fabulous music.
What would you call fabulous music?
Oh. I have such a range.
I like all music, so come on, hit me with some stuff.
Well, I have Brazil.
Yeah, a little bit Brazilian music. Yeah, I don't know who that is, but Brazilian music, mate. All I can think of are those festivals in Rio.
Yes,
and they got those sick music going on.
Do you mean Brazilian music or a band called Brazil?
It's the song. Brazil.
Oh, it's a song called Brazil.
Yeah, by Django Reinhardt, did the guitar.
Okay.
All right, anyway. Well, we'll get it on.
Yeah, we can get it up.
It's tuned.
I can send it to you.
Yeah, we got it on right now. No one's dancing, but we got it on.
Yeah. So lots of uplifting music.
Lots of components there that it feels like you kind of boiled down to like the essentials though. But I imagine also that you kind of dip in with other things as appropriate for the families that you see.
Yes, yes. And we have key themes. So like in my class, we have like the water pool with the lake, because that's important, water. And so we have different games where we're horses and we're going to take the water to the water trough so the horses can have a great big drink. And there's the food for the caterpillars. We're going to sort of eat the flowers. So we bring that into the game. So with different moves we're doing, we're actually doing different tasks on there so that we have a nice sort of natural theme and looking after each other. It's very caring. And we're working as a team. You know, child has a job, the mum has a job. Let's get everything going and working. And so encouraging all along helps the session to go really nicely. And when the kid wants to... the child wants to use a truck instead of a horse because he's really fanatical about trucks, and that's okay. Okay, or dinosaurs, you know, dinosaurs this time, you know, and velociraptors, that's it, come on then. And then we just adapt it. So it's, again, with what's interesting to the child. So that way it builds their confidence. And so
I'd say follow the fun. Just go with it, whatever they enjoy.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to have to come to one of your classes.
Leon's been so...
I have to wait till she's only like 5 weeks old yet, so I might have to...
Oh, baby.
Yeah, so maybe when she's walking, is that 9 months maybe? I don't know. 9 to 12 months? I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the lowest?
They're all different.
What's the lowest age that you've had on?
I've had 9 months before.
Have you?
If they come as a baby, they're really interested in things. It's their level, because you don't want them to be overwhelmed. But when they've come and they're just really interested, even if the mum's holding them for a lot, we can adapt the moves to suit, the ability of the child. That's worked. And then also, like some of the sessions now, the child's been coming for a year.
Yeah.
And he's, the grand old age of 2.5, but it's amazing. Because hi Emma, right, we're going to have this and this, and I want to play that game, and he's directing everything about how it's going to be and what he's got, and and we've covered trucks, squirrels, submarines, all these different worlds have just come to life. It's like being in play school.
Right, give it 8 months.
Hey, Liam will be there. How have you been operating during what's been going on?
Oh, I know. The joys.
Yeah, so it's weird, because were your classes bigger than, I don't know, 10 people before, or was it like roughly?
Yeah, they weren't larger than that, because it works, because we've got the parents and the children, so you need it to be kind of a working group. But yes, of course, with lockdown, everything had to go on to Zoom.
Oh, you done it on Zoom, did you? Wicked.
Yeah, I have to do it. I'm still doing it on Zoom.
Wicked.
All through lockdown, I was doing it every day for parents, just free, just to...
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, just because of the continuity, because the point of my class, which I think is probably one of the key things, it's like creating this little oasis of fun, of just what we're going to do now, you and me, right here in our room, with whatever else is happening, we're just going to focus on that. And that's like the beauty of sort of movement and exercise and that kind of thing. But if you can do it, sometimes exercise puts people off, that word, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you say, let's just have some games, okay, like, oh, right. So then they get to do that, and it just helps their day, because we've had a real blast of fun, a good connection. Lots of singing, because that's really important with the children as well, just singing, no matter what your voice is like, doesn't matter. They love to hear you. They find it really funny.
I like it. In a good way. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was doing that. A lot of my programs had to go on hold because they need to be in a venue, and that's put things on a slow area. But I had the project with a women's refuge and was going to work with them. So I've had to create craft packs, which is what I did as well, and send them out to the new families, which has been really good. So that's little bits that they can make, bubble mixture and lavender bags.
Cool. That is cool.
Yeah, do what you can.
Are you going to jump
You
in?
look like you're about to speak. Go. Yeah.
Oh, I heard the word craft, and I just wanted to bring up my river table.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't talk about this before the pod, did we? No, we did, and we wanted to save it for the pod because I wanted to show you the river table. We'll get it up on my phone.
So just to give the viewers a bit of background, Jack is a creative person, and I think you might have found an interesting creative outlet. You seem to be building things all the time. You seem to be putting things together, and it seems like Jack's set on a bit of a passion here of creating tables, but more importantly, the process of the table. I understood there was like basically 2 bits of wood, if I'm going to go really big, 2 bits of wood, 1 bit of wood. You cut in half. On mic, dude. On mic. Cheers, dude. Tell us about it.
So
we can get it on the screen as well.
Yeah, so we'll get it up there, but basically it's a bit of waney wood, sliced straight down the middle, the whittle, and then it's flipped over, so the waney edge is on the inside, and then you get epoxy resin, colour it up to whatever colour you want, and pour it in and just let it dry, basically. And it is as easy as that, we thought. But we used a whiteboard, like the one we had on the back here, to try not to stick the resin to the whiteboard. But what's happened is the resin is literally like adheres straight to the board. So as soon as we prop the table off, it ripped the whiteboard off as well. So this weekend I got to spend a whole day to go over it with a router and just take the whiteboard off. But hopefully once that's done, it should be ready. But yeah, I completely agree with everything you're saying with crafts and things like that. And the only reason I like it is because I'd done it as a kid. Like my dad used to make swords, shields, helmets, just stupid little things. Like we used to make Dutch arrows and just random little crafts just to have fun and go up the common and play with them and that. And I think that's inbred in me now. Like whenever I'm up the land and we're working on something, like you're not thinking about anything else, you're just smiling, having a laugh with each other, making, and then you finish it and you feel like you've accomplished something.
Yeah.
So I completely get where you're coming from with like the mental health and everything, because
Yeah.
I'd rather spend my weekend working on a table. I don't see it as work, but working on a table than sitting around doing nothing, and it's definitely better for mental health.
Definitely.
Until it goes wrong and you spend 6 hours trying to fix it.
But isn't there also satisfaction at the end of that as well, where you've encountered a problem and you found a way around and you've succeeded?
Yeah. But do you know what? I'm not going to boy him up like this, but it was my dad's fault it went wrong. So,
Sorry.
you know, Dad. You know. But it made me feel good because I said so many times that it wouldn't work. So when it didn't work, I just didn't say nothing, and he started panicking. He's like, he saw it ripping off, and he was panicking. He's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe proper stressing. I was like, it don't matter. He's like, oh, but it does. I'm like, no, it don't matter. He was like, what do you mean it don't matter? I was like, well, it's your fault. I was like, I had nothing to do with it. And he was just like, yeah, whatever. And then we got to work. But yeah, we're a good team, really.
Yes.
I like that you've linked in with this thing. It's very cool, and it seems quite recent, and it's interesting that you've tied it into when you were much younger. And one of the sort of concerns that I've had about modern life, and I think my generation has touched on this a bit, but I wonder if your generation is full on into this, which is rather than being creative and like forming your own world, you get your worlds handed to you in the form of video games and movies. And I've kind of thought about this a few years ago about what is not being developed or not being utilized as a result. Like every game, basically everything's there. You know, you don't have to imagine anything. It's right there. Yeah. And I kind of wondered, like, what's the disadvantage of that, I guess? And it almost got to the point, I think, with you, that you do your video games and all that, but then you've gone, I've got to do something creative. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like this sort of bubbling thing within you that needed to do that you've accessed, thank God.
Well, I always wanted to work with my hands. Like, since I left school, I always said I wanted to work with my hands. I feel like I was good at it. But then my mum gave me a job here, which is so good that I can't leave. Right? So I've now been in this job for like 5 years, and you say, I have got this bubbling feeling like I want to change a pace. I don't want to leave this job forever, but I want to change a pace for a little bit. I want to make stuff. I want to be creative, like you say, and don't get a lot of creative stuff in this side of the business.
Is it quite prescriptive then?
It's quite. It's not even that it's that prescriptive, because when we're in the classrooms and working with young people, I can be who I want and change it up a bit, and I can get creative in there. But on my day-to-day job, it's very repetitive. And it's
with
just
the phone
like
calls and
thing,
the recruitment.
it's just over and over. Which again, when you're working with the right people, it's not that bad. But I have that feeling where I want to make something. I want to do something different just for a little bit.
Following your instincts as well.
My
like,
instincts.
This is good. Okay, cool. Rather than denying them and going, oh no, I've got X amount to do. Or I've always been fascinated by creativity, and the reason I felt fascinated by it is because I used to regard myself as having an absence of it. You know, I used to see people that are great at art, drawing, writing. My uncle was wicked. You know, he used to kind of give me things as a kid, and it was very much an outside looking in. Like, I can't do that. In my opinion, it was like magic. It was like someone conjured something. And I was like, I wish I could have that. I wish it was the Matrix where you could download it into my head and I can just do it. But I couldn't. I didn't have it. And for so long, I just thought I'm not creative. And then it turns out I'm quite creative with writing. So, you know, stories, things like that. I know I used to do that as a kid. Names for the pod. So I'm kind of doing that in this role as well, where I'm getting creative with words and language, and there's opportunities a little bit on funding applications as well, that there's a certain style that you put it, but there's certainly like a little bit of creative license within that as well. Like, I'll look at a sentence and it don't sound right in my head. So I change a word or stick a comma in or whatever, and there's a part of me that goes, yeah, that's it. That's it. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the same feeling that you might get when you're being creative, right?
Yes, yeah, because like you're like, I just changed that. I thought of something, I've done it, and now it looks good.
Yeah.
Now it's done.
You sort of do it until you realise your vision, I suppose. I imagine that's a lot to do with art and creativity as well. Yeah. Like, that you don't really know how it's going to look, but you're going to do it until it looks like how you feel right with it.
Yes.
That, I don't know
well,
if that's defining
I have like
it.
an image in my head, but like you say, my imagination is quite good. I guess I can close my eyes and I can picture stuff, but it's very hazy and it's like sort of distant. But like you say, when you do get it and it all sort of comes into the final piece and you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's what I had in my head. It does feel good. Especially like an end goal in it.
I'm reminded of like statues, you know, they start off with a block of stone and then chip, and, you know, they didn't.
Well, that's how I felt at my table, because right now I've got a whiteboard basically, and I know there's a beautiful river under there somewhere. And have you ever seen Surf's Up?
Not for a while.
The Penguin film. You know when he gets that log and he's carving the board out of it, and he's like, inside this log, there's a beautiful surfboard. You just got to get it out. And I felt like that penguin, like, because that's literally what I was doing, was planing this bit of wood over and over, going, let's get this beautiful bit of river out. Still not there.
I can imagine an image. There's an image of what you just talked about.
What?
We can do that.
Yeah. I'll actually put one on there of it looking rubbish as well, just so you can see where it went bad.
Nice.
I have to take it this weekend though.
From my background's in counselling, and when I trained as a counsellor, I was always fascinated by that creative outlet. You know, that there's an argument always for maybe words aren't your primary form of expression. There are lots of other ways of expressing yourself, and if we look at the arts in general, like rapping, you know, movies or whatever, that is still someone's creative vision being kind of put out there. And we talked about Harry Mack recently. He's a freestyle rapper, and the creativity that occurs. He does these like live things. You'll go on like a sort of like a chat roulette type thing called a Meagle, I think they call it, and you like, you know, press a button until he comes up with someone, and you go, oh, I'm a freestyle rapper. Do you want to give me a load of words to like rap about? And I just, again, it's outside looking in, going, that is amazing. But he's put the hours in. The guy's like got really good at it. But the joy that comes from it is very infectious. Like, and I'm seeing that, and like people are smiling and they're seeing the words, and the clever way that he's managed to work it into the rap, like on the fly, is well impressive. Yeah. So again, I love all that stuff. I love like people that are just coming up with anything. I lost my point about creative. Oh yeah, so counselling. So there were other ways that people can express themselves, and wasn't me personally, but somebody worked with a young lad who loved doing portraits, and he was very good. I know that's a value judgment. I shouldn't say very good. I mean, it just looked exactly like Princess Diana and Spider-Man in those two examples. So that was the way that, so it's the why is interesting to me, like why those particular, and the reason was, when you think about the background, he come from like a horrendous childhood background, and he wanted to be rescued. He wanted to be taken from that, you know, Spider-Man the hero, Princess Di was doing all that work with, all around the world to kind of help people. So although he wasn't able to necessarily articulate that, it's kind of there. And that intrigues me, and I haven't really got a question, but I'm kind of wondering what your thoughts are on that, you know, about the way that people express themselves.
I just think it's so important because that links into the other thing that I do, which is this program called Uplift, which is about, it's going to be a digital course, but it's because my Let's Go Raw program is for sort of mothers and kids and bonding and that kind of thing, but actually sort of improving your mental health and your well-being can be for all ages. And so Uplift program I'm trialing with especially like, you know, young adults and older people to sort of identify what they're feeling now and sort of taking the empowerment back into yourself. You know, you've all mentioned a few things about, well, when it feels right to me, I'll know the words. And sometimes we can go through life sort of getting run down or anxious or overwhelmed by other people's opinions, or, you know, the society, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at you know, I didn't have a job, or, you know, whatever it is, all of those sort of thoughts can really make you feel like this. And if we sort of really connect with our feelings and use them as guidance, it helps us to choose a better thought and to be able to think a different way, so we feel a bit more empowered, and so you can make a right decision for yourself. And I think that's so linked with, you know, making, I'll bring them out because they're on my mind.
Yeah, let's get them out.
Like
pizza.
Orange, isn't it?
It's orange, yeah.
I saw orange.
Come on, son. Appreciate the art.
Yeah. So I have like
4 cheese.
It's a process.
All right, it's an orange.
It's really important just to, like, here, this is railway tickets.
Oh, I like that one.
Huh.
Ah.
I like that one.
So it's just simple, clever things that you can do to using what you have to make, you know, to feel good now, and then say, okay, and then trying to take the power back to yourself and what you want to go. So we have sort of typical areas where we always feel it's either job or money or your body or, you know, career. Maybe I didn't get that position, or, you know, things aren't working out for me and I can't do it. I'm not very good at that. And then to actually go through the process of, okay, hang on a minute, that thought's actually a bit hard to me, you know, and it doesn't serve me. So
yeah,
that's why we have our feelings. They're actually like a guidance system. So if you imagine you're going down a road and you've got the cat's eyes and they start ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. It's like an indicator. Hang on, that thought's no good for me. So, you know, use it like that. That's why it's such a good thing to be in charge of my feelings. This really hurts. You know, oh, so-and-so said that. Oh, if I keep thinking it, I'm just going to feel worse. You know?
Oh, you're putting it somewhere, really, aren't you? So rather than kind of sitting with the feelings and the discomfort, when you talk about kind of art and being able to kind of get it out, it might be verbal expression, it might not be, it might be all sorts of things. But are you suggesting that, like, when you get in those kind of states, then taking action and doing a thing with it is the way forward?
Yes.
Yeah.
We could do a little experiment.
Sure.
Do you want
Yeah.
I love experiments.
So here we go.
It's our first experiment on the pod.
I'm gonna commentate if it's okay, because we've got audio listeners.
Oh, yes.
But, for those that are just listening, we've just appeared on the table is a jar and two little bags that look like miniature shopping bags that you might get in an outlet
They are
centre.
cool. Oh, 2 jars.
Got another jar here.
2 jars, 2 bags.
So we need.
We've got a disc of wood about the size of a small frisbee and a sort of little man
I
without
could make
arms on
something
it.
out of that.
This is going to be for Here to Listen.
Oh, I see. There's still more coming out.
Oh, and here's another one which I think is
Oh, I like that.
brilliant.
And we've got a
Is
picture
that
of what, a
for
lion and a
this?
dragon.
That's a lion and a lion.
Okay.
Lion and a
Lion
Lion has
phoenix.
wings.
And a line.
That's a
What?
manticore, right?
So if we're feeling, when we're not, when we're feeling a really negative thought,
Yep.
we can be feeling high. It's good if we have an example. If you've got one that you want to work on,
Mm-hmm.
The guy that I work with has been annoying me for months.
Oh.
Recently had a kid.
I've got one as well. The guy that I work with is leaving me to go to Thailand in January.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, let's work on that one. This one's real. This one's real. I feel bad for you, Leon. But I'm going to be surfing. And you're going to be working.
Oh.
So you use that image so that people can identify what a negative and a positive. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and also how you're seeing yourself. So
Mhm.
when you're feeling hard, no, this is really hurtful for me, or, you know, like, it's not actually kind to you. Or someone said something horrible about your child or your mum, or, you know, something like that. It's really real pain.
Mhm.
Actually thinking that thought is of what it is hurtful to yourself. And it's always good to try and see everything's working out for me, and I'm a really, you know, I'm a valued, worthy person. You know, this is great. So I'll just put that there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Again, for the just the listeners, there's a picture there of like a lion looking at another lion, and one lion's kind of dark and in shadow, and the other lion's kind of bright and got wings and sort of soaring. And the implication here is about you can stay in those kind of negative feelings, but also there are other options. You can kind of switch that mindset.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got the little mini shopping bags here being handed to Jack and Leon
Yes.
with little bits of
Do we go
paper
in?
in the top.
So in what one's in our negative thoughts is in the sort of flat colours,
God
and
damn.
it goes in one jar. And
Okay.
then when you want to try and sort of go from a negative feeling, thinking thoughts that helps you.
So are these both
Feel
for
better.
Leon, or are these for me and Leon?
Well, you can
Take one of
work
each.
together. But yeah, when you think of a negative thought for the situation, we'll put a negative ball in, and then
So I have to say it out loud.
yeah.
So Jack put one in the negative. Leon's reaching for a
What's
colourful.
your negative thought?
I can't say it on camera.
Jack leaving me for Thailand.
So
But that was a positive
That's-
emotion.
Oh, so it's
positive.
wrong one.
if
You're thrilled that he's going.
Yeah, but
trying
hang
to
on. That could
say?
be negative for me because I could be sad that you're going because I'll be
Exactly.
missing
Yeah.
you.
So you
If
take
you're-
from the other bag.
Oh,
so you
sorry.
scrunch it to a little ball and it's go, but my friend's leaving me and he's going to Thailand.
Got
Just
it.
a sad thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could go. But
Yeah.
he's a good friend and I'm glad he's going to have a really good time and he could have, well, one of the best experiences of his life. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Oh, thanks, Leon.
Nice.
I'm
Got one in each jar at the moment.
gonna get mad FOMO when I'm away from all the
Oh.
messages in the group chat and that.
Oh.
But then I'm gonna be surfing and seeing the elephants and monkeys and everything, so it don't matter.
Ah.
So I now have the most responsibility I've ever had in my life.
Oh.
But, you know, I'm going to go for a pink one because, you know,
Mix it up.
but, you know, it's also one of the best things that's happened to me, and it's sorted our whole lives out. So it's also a good thing. There we go.
Do we need to do one more?
Yeah.
Keep it coming, mate.
I don't
Open up.
I have got I don't have a lot of negative things. Oh, I've got bad neck. My neck has been killing me, and yesterday I had to leave work early and leave my boys
Wow.
to work till 6 because it was so bad. But I've got a guru and his son that sort me out on a madness. So I feel good now. Neck's all good.
So basically, that's a massager.
Yeah.
Chiropractor.
We're getting him on, the guru. You've heard it here.
You want to do one more, Liam?
Yeah, do one more. Just got a second to... something negative. I don't have a lot of negatives. Huh? Oh, yeah, I broke my leg last year. And I still can't run properly. Negative. But, you know, it's getting better. And I can walk. And considering the injury that I got, it's probably doing better than what it should be doing. So that's good.
Yeah. And do you find that whenever you have like a really negative problem with your physical body, you have more appreciation for it?
Yeah, 100%.
Always.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
So like I can still go gym and stuff now. So I can do squats and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I never really used to like doing squats, but now I can do them. I'm like, I don't actually mind doing them so much. But yes, I'm enjoying. I don't actually get too down about not being able to do certain things. Like it's just now, it's like got what I can do. At least I can do X, Y, and Z. Whereas there could have been a lot of things that I couldn't do. But hopefully, give it another year or two's time and can do more. But we'll see.
Yeah.
You'll be getting on that skateboard.
Have had that outlook at all, would you? If you hadn't broken your leg in the first place.
I probably took my body for granted. I'd do like crazy jumps, that sort of stuff, and throw it around a little bit. But I also think that's a good thing as well, because you know you've got to feel your body, know how it works, feel a bit of pain here and there when you fall over. It's not a bad thing. Yeah. Get back up, but yeah, now do appreciate it. Yes.
Yeah. You see, I think that's the key, because this is always what's going on with life, isn't it? Like the waves form and then they crash, don't they? And they form and they crash, and like we're always going to have like, oh, it grows, so it's great. Oh no, it's all falling apart again. And like this is the cycle that happens in life all the time, isn't it?
I agree with that.
You know, and so like with every new thing that's coming, like it's going to be scary for sure, but it's going to be an adventure, and all my security and everything else I've known is all back there, you know. But then, oh man, new beginnings, you know.
I know.
You know who knows what's going to happen. You're only going to build on your lovely friendships, and then it'll be a nice thing for you to visit as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
If I'm allowed, you know, COVID and all that.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, it's true. If I can even go. Should mention that.
We've got it in our mind to involve Jack in the podcast regardless. You know, we just love the idea of having like a phone in almost.
That
like,
would
you know,
be so
like a live phone in with like, you're in Thailand.
Get on the green screen.
Yeah.
Your travel reporter.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You never know. I could get locked down in Thailand for months. I could actually be giving you some real good info.
It's the truth from the front line.
What's really going on?
I was going to ask you, Emma, like, how do you work with people, or have you had examples of working with people that just fill up that far jar, the negative one? It just they keep adding to it.
Well, that's the point. The Uplift program is, you know, this is just one tiny little example, but because we go through a process where you always have to connect to how you're feeling here, and you don't move. You know, you can say, well, you could put 2 or 3 negative things in if you're on that sort of swell, but they just gather momentum. And it's very important to go, well, does that make you feel better? You're just looking for the thought that gives relief. Now, the difference is words don't teach as such. It's your feelings that do. And, you know, everyone has their own feelings. So you don't know what anyone else's point is, but the individual needs to know, and sort of like tune into how does it feel right now? And you listen to this part here, because sometimes you can listen to beliefs. Oh, but I should have been doing that, so that's why I've hurt somebody, or if it's from there. Whereas if you follow this feeling place, it's like, no, you don't do anything wrong. You know, just don't be hard on yourself, and just say, well, I'll work this out. I love the power of my thoughts. I love the power of my feelings, my focus. It's focusing all the time, isn't it? You're in the charge. You're in the seat. What do I choose to think about helps. And to just sit there on those thoughts, or I can choose a thought that makes me feel better. Just slow down, you know, I can take some deep breaths, or I can just, if there's something that's nice nature for me. That's why I have the sun.
Yeah, I can imagine if you're doing this with like young kids and stuff, it's probably quite a good visual way for them to get their thoughts out.
Yes.
Because if you ask, I can imagine asking a young or a kid or a child how you feeling, and they don't really know.
Yeah.
But then if they can pick apart their thoughts.
Yeah.
So like for me, I'm quite optimistic. So like I'm almost struggling to put stuff in the negative. I'm not really look for the positive all the time. But if you was working with someone that was struggling, or I'm guessing they would probably keep putting it in the sad. Like I didn't really think of it like that.
So would you in this exercise? Would it be like you just give them this, like you did with me and Leon, and you just let them put in whichever ones they want, and how many ever they wanted. So they could fill the negative jar up, or they could fill the positive jar up. What would you then say once they've filled these jars up?
Well, the point is, this is you. How do positive feelings make you feel?
Pretty
good.
Good. It's nice, isn't it? It's like a light feeling. It feels optimistic. It feels like a light and happy and joyful. Those kind of things. And we have negative feelings, which we heavy.
Weigh you down.
Heavy duty. So at the end of it, when you've sort of got a few in there, and remembering you choose all the time. So which one do you want to go in? In here and be around these kind of negative thoughts and feelings, or here? And then we can put a lid on it, you know,
nice.
make it pretty and have it like a little visual.
I like the colours as well. They are.
Doesn't it make a difference?
Yeah, it's a good concept. I like it.
As I always have, that was one of the key themes in my classes is colour. Like, you know, and they just have like that. There's another game where you have like your favourite things. It's a really great exercise. And it could be all things like just what you like doing with, not money.
Yeah.
Or I've got to have that. Oh, it's got to be a mansion. You know, but what makes you feel nice? You know, it might be a fluffy pillow. It might be warm, you know, hot chocolate, or, you know, a nice bath, or walking, kicking leaves. Yeah. You know, things like that only you like. Every time you do it, do the same. So you have a jar of your favourite things. It's just nice to sort of look at and go, well, okay. But you're deciding all the time with your thoughts. So that's where you can try and manage get up from your...
Yeah, I like that. Good demonstration, like you say, especially working with kids. Like, even with adults, I was showing, not you guys, but you was in the last pod, so you heard me and Max talking about it as a video. It's almost like a self-help video. And the way that it's illustrated, it's done by After School. So they basically just draw in bright felt tips everything he's saying, like they're writing on a whiteboard, and they draw it all, and it's about this self-help. He's taking you through this journey about reprogramming your mind and that. But just because it's so bright and the illustrations are so clear, that for a kid and even as an adult, like I'm like, Max, I don't know about you two, but I'm so much better at understanding it visually.
Yes.
So like something like that, it's just so easy to grasp the concept. I mean, you could have told me that and I could have got it, but for a kid, that is perfect.
Yeah.
Like, of course you want to be in the bright coloured, happy jar. Why wouldn't you want to be in the nice one? Rather than the brown, plain, sad jar. Heavy jar. No one wants to be in there. But yeah, it's good. It is good.
Yeah, so that's the Uplift programme, which I'm really excited about, and I'll be running that as a group through Zoom. So that will be fun to go through the steps with like some, you know, young people who feel that might be something they'd be interested in. Because there's a way you can sort of, you know, with our negative thoughts, you can feel they sort of overwhelm us, the same old story. Oh God, it's like the washing up bowl, you know, you know, that chatter. And it's a way to, okay, how can we change his mindset and get onto something new? So I'm looking forward to that.
What age are you looking to work with on that?
For the Uplift?
Yeah.
I think probably be ideal for like 16.
Perfect.
That is pretty much our target audience.
Yeah.
Plus
Brilliant.
Some months.
Whether we get them watching is another story.
Yes.
But we're trying.
Yes.
We are trying.
But the rest of the listeners, we love you too, you know.
Yeah, we're not neglecting you.
Yeah. Oh, well, if any of them would like to get involved, for sure.
Yeah, and we'll have all of our contact details down at the bottom so you can get involved through that. I'm sure Adam will let you know at the end everything that's going on.
One of the things that we talked about briefly before the pod as well was the struggles that somebody might face when they're setting up their own business and trying to grow their business and develop their business. And the sort of request, I suppose, that we're asking about is the kind of support that you might be looking for how would you sort of define that in terms of helping you with the business at the moment? It seems like you're doing really well. Like it's almost like, oh, it doesn't really need any help. But you identified before the podcast there's certain kind of things that maybe aren't your strengths that you're looking to perhaps draw from other people, becoming directors possibly, we mentioned. So what would you want people to understand about that?
Yeah, well, a director's position, definitely. So if there's anyone who would likes the idea of what I'm doing, and I would like to support, because I'm helping both young families in the public and also families, you know, connected with Women's Refuge, and you know, they've had all sorts of difficulties going on. So that program is fantastic, and then my Uplift program, I can't wait to sort of get that rolling. And there's going to be a play challenge starting as well for families if they want to sort of, you know, bring a bit more play into the house, because sometimes that could be one of the last things to do. So anyway, I have lots of programs. So I really would love to get in you know, if any directors, people who would feel comfortable in a director role would like to come and sort of get in contact, then please do, to help oversee and just
organise.
Yeah, that would be.
One of the things that I'm like, just to link in with that, like I've been part of things called locality meetings as well. They run them periodically around the Central Beds area. They've done them virtually recently, but what you've got there is like a huge number of different professionals. You've got like social workers, you've got business, you've got charities, you've got all sorts in there that might be kind of a good thing to link into. Yeah. But I'm reminded, I know that there was somebody in there talking about very similar things that you were talking about kind of art therapy. I didn't know if it was like a funded by Central Bedfordshire Council type thing, but if it ended up being a business, I wondered sort of what opportunities there might be with collaboration. Like imagine a situation where there's somebody just like yourself out there that's like, oh, I need directors and I kind of need people to support the growth of the business, and you're also doing that. So I was wondering, like, is there any opportunities to sort of collab and kind of mix the businesses or
work together?
That'd
be fantastic.
Yeah, things like that. So yeah, obviously you would want to keep your identity as a business, but if that is a shared identity and there's exactly the same kind of aims and goal, then it doesn't seem to be too much of an issue there.
No.
You said you was quite nervous about coming today.
Yes.
But after that, you feeling
good about it.
You loved it, didn't you?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Everyone that comes, don't they? They say, like, I'm really nervous. And do you know what we were? If it wasn't that it was just us four in the room chatting like we normally do. But it does seem quite daunting to come to a place in a studio, sit down, like be filmed, all that sort of stuff. It seems so scary. And then you get here and it's just like, wait, this is so chill.
You come at the right time as well, because we're playing a game. So you got to play a game. Which probably like broke the ice quite a lot, which is nice.
Fantastic.
Something
playing games.
Something I wanted to kind of end on, link to that as well, is about play, you know. And you know, I'm in my 40s now, and like in the last sort of 5 years, I've got super into like the hobby of modern board gaming, you know, dice games, board games, all sorts of things like that. And it was
anyone out there that is sitting behind their screens laughing at Adam or making jokes, take them back now, because I've done that.
Board games are the way forward.
They are the way forward. They're fun. They're engaged. What was the metaphor you used?
So it's a metaphor of like, you know, Monopoly's like your Nokia 500 phone, whereas modern board games like your iPhone 11. It's just amazing how much it's moved on in that time. And I've had the privilege really of introducing the team to these games, and I'm not quite sure where it started, but somehow we ended up meeting up and playing games, and that's all great, and it's nice for people to be interested. But the kind of point I wanted to get to was about the importance of tapping into my inner child is definitely occurring in that time. Dawn said to me that games are being reintroduced to your family as a result now. And rather than the things that used to tear your hair out, the stress of Monopoly or frustration, it's in the title, doesn't sound a lot of fun, you know. Where there's like, just because of the wealth of games that are out there at the minute, it just sounds like it's kind of brought people together, and I see huge value in that. And as someone that, when I was a kid, because I had a disconnect to my inner child, I took great pride in seeming very adult. So I was like 14 years old, but I'm like, and I used to get pats on the head and affirmation for that and all that. But really what I was doing was chasing away my inner child, and it suffered for kind of many years. And so getting into kind of later life and doing therapy and kind of getting myself sorted out, you know, I feel like that inner child that was very, very small within me has kind of grown into my body. It's sort of, you know, we talked earlier about comfortable in your own skin. So I admired that in you, because I see you very connected to your inner child. You're right there, mate. Like, and I'm almost there. Do you know what I mean? I haven't got a lot, but there's just sort of like a lovely connection now. now with the things that are fun and spontaneous and social and all that kind of stuff that I probably used to avoid when I was a kid. So yeah, any kind of stuff like that I'm kind of fascinated with as well. And yeah, hopefully we can kind of start integrating some of the games into the programs that we got. So watch this space.
Yeah, well, we did have a discussion about playing board games and sort of like doing reviews, rating them and just showing you what they're all about. So if you do want that to happen, which I definitely want to happen because it means I get to play board games, let us know.
Cool. All right, so thank you very much for coming in, Emma. Appreciate your time.
Thank
It's been
you.
great
Very
hearing.
nice to meet you.
And
Yeah, you too.
and great hearing
Thank
about
you.
something I don't know that much about. So I kind of love that like people devote their life to kind of expertise. And although you might not call yourself an expert, I see you as like an expert in your field, and it's great to hear that from yourself.
Yeah, wicked what you do.
Yeah,
Wicked.
exactly. So yeah, we've been here to listen. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next time.